So at the beginning of the season, and you're looking at the NFC North, you're looking at a very solid division again in football, one of the best divisions in football. You've got some changes that happened and took place. You've got an offensive line shuffle, realignment in Detroit, and it left you wondering, is Jared Goff going to be the same quarterback that we saw in the last couple of years? Or is the offensive line deficiencies going to affect his style, his efficiencies out on the football field? Are the Lions going to struggle? What about Jordan Love? Is Jordan Love going to be the Jordan Love we saw his first season as a starting quarterback and what we saw that last 8 games of the season into the playoffs? Or is it going to be the Jordan Love of last season where he had some knee injuries and you're wondering, was it the knee or was it Jordan Love's style of play? And then you have the Chicago Bears. We knew the inefficiencies there, the offensive line woes that were in Chicago. They go this offseason. They go and address their quarterback. I'm sorry, their coaching issues there. They get Ben Johnson, who wasn't a starting coach in this league, but he has the resume with Detroit to make you think, oh my gosh, this could be the Caleb Williams answer that the Chicago's been looking for. And what about the offensive line? They went out and spent a ton of money on the offensive line, and they're looking super good. And then you've got the Minnesota Vikings, who passed up on Daniel Jones. They passed up on Sam Darnold. They passed up on Aaron Rodgers, and they go with the guy that's unproven out of Michigan, JJ McCarthy, and then he's got some injury issues. So you fast forward to where we're at right now currently. You've got the Vikings playing the Lions. So there's going to be a lot of excitement happening. But there's also some great news that comes about for the Green Bay Packers in that when you start looking at the beginning of the season to where we're at right now, what is that great news the Packers get out of the NFC North? Well, this is comical. You've got the Chicago Bears saying Bears predicted to replace Caleb Williams before the end of the season. And there is this commentator that is close to the Chicago Bears team, and it says right here, I think the Bears are pretty good, and I think Caleb Williams is holding them back. And I think Ben Johnson's going to be like, you know what? Bleep it. I think Tyson Bagent is the guy. We love him. Ben Johnson loves him. They're like a playoff team, and Caleb has not been good for them. He thinks Caleb Williams is the reason why that that the Chicago Bears are who they are, and he's predicting that Caleb Williams is going to be benched around week 13 or week 14, and then Up and Adams is interviewing a legend there as an offensive lineman in Chicago, and he's saying, "Hey, listen, the reason why Caleb Williams is struggling, the Chicago Bears are struggling." And you look at Caleb Williams' numbers, he's thrown 3 picks, 2 touchdowns over the last 4 weeks. That's not good. Those are not good stats. And he says the reason being is because it's Ben Johnson and his inefficiency to play call. So you've got everybody pointing fingers in Chicago, and the results are still the same in Chicago. Okay, this is a good Chicago team. They went out this offseason and spent the money. They put the players, the personnel, the staff, Ben Johnson. I would say I agree with the first person saying that, hey, Caleb Williams is the problem. You look at Caleb Williams, he doesn't get the ball out of his hands quick enough. He didn't in college. He's not in the NFL. He runs, he scrambles, he tries to rely on his legs, and then he's making errors, he's making mistakes. And in the NFL, you've got to be able to drop back and get the ball out of your hands sooner than later. Okay. So that is absolutely hilarious stuff there. Okay. So then you've got the Minnesota Vikings, and you've got the problematic issues there that are taking place when you look at a starting quarterback right now in JJ McCarthy that they're going to go with, who's thrown 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on the season. Again, keeping in mind that is the guy that they decided to go with, and they're going to be left with, because they've had the easier part of their schedule out of the way. Now they've got the more difficult part of their schedule yet ahead of them, and they're 3-4. So you're looking at a Minnesota Vikings team that's 3-4, and they're not going to finish the season great. This is going to be a Minnesota Viking team that's going to struggle as the year goes on and continues. They're going to struggle this week against the Detroit Lions. And the talk of the offseason is going to be like, okay, well, they had Daniel Jones, they had Sam Darnold, they had an opportunity to have Aaron Rodgers there, at least for a 1-year lease to get JJ McCarthy up and going, to learn under somebody like that. Or they could have just stuck with Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones. You see how good the Indianapolis Colts are with Daniel Jones. The New York Giants were just a train wreck, and they are a train wreck. Um, but you look at a team like the Minnesota Vikings, who now they don't know their identity. They don't know what they're going to do at the quarterback position. Man, this is fantastic news if you are a Packers fan, because now you're looking at a division where it's literally just going to be a two-man race over the next handful of years. You've got the Green Bay Packers 5-1-1. You got right behind them the Detroit Lions 5-2. And you're looking at two squads. Jared Goff, we already know that there are some offensive line issues, and they're going to start coming more to a head as the season goes on and continues, unless they make a trade before the trade deadline to make up for that, because you are going to see some of that stuff ready to surface. Okay, you've got the Lions playing the Vikings this week. Then they have the Commanders, and they've got the Eagles. Commanders have got their own problems with injuries to Jaden Daniels, thanks to the Green Bay Packers. You've got two tough games coming up for Detroit after this week. You've got the Eagles and the Commanders. Who knows where the Detroit Lions sit after this week? And then they've got the Giants, who Giants are, they were a train wreck. Now they've got some stuff figured out there. But then Scatterboo goes out. He gets hurt. His ankle falls off practically last week onto the football field. But you've got a Vikings and Chicago Bears that don't know what they're going to do at the quarterback position. They have no clue what they're going to do. I think it's absolutely comical. And now you've got the Green Bay Packers, who were staring at them going into this Carolina game, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a Packer team that have their stuff figured out, and they've got their quarterback, their future quarterback, certainly for years to come with Jordan Love. He's certainly looking absolutely the part. Okay, so let's take a look at the injury report heading into the Carolina game. You've got some questionables on here. Brandon McManus, one of them. Clearly, the leg was an issue. He didn't have the leg last week. He had some difficulties out there. We know that Brandon McManus is a good kicker. He's proven himself to be a good kicker. But you've got Lucas Van Ness, who's out on the injury report. He's not going to be there this week against the Panthers. He's got that foot injury that he's still dealing with. You've got Quay Walker, who's questionable. You got Brandon McManus, who's questionable, like I said. And then you've got Dontavian Wicks, who has been ruled out, which just means more playing time, more opportunities for Christian Watson, more opportunities for Romeo Dobbs, for Matthew Golden, for Savion Williams. But then you look at Devontae Wyatt, who's also going to be there as well. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm super pumped up. I think it's absolutely hilarious that the Chicago Bears now are looking at their quarterback situation and being like, man, what do we do? Do we start over again? Where are we at? Is Caleb Williams a problem? So I think absolutely this guy's the problem. He doesn't know how to get the ball out of his hands soon enough, which is killing this Chicago Bears team, who, quite frankly, has the roster on paper to be a playoff team. They're just not. I think it's hilarious. Leave your comments, and as always, go Pack Go.